Hello, thank you so much for clicking. In today's episode, I'll be showing my wild ones how to find gold for free using my tips and tricks that I've accumulated over the years. Why am I giving this stuff away? I don't know. I just want to give it away. I just want to share all my info with you. I got no family, no kids, but I got all this info and I want to give it away. So stay tuned for my tips and tricks. I'm going to show you a little secret. This is going to start to change the game for people like me and that are out here scrounging and scratching at the bedrock. So this Bauer vacuum runs on a 5 amp hour lithium ion battery. It gives you about 20 minutes of really awesome suction, and then it takes about 2 hours to recharge it. So if you have a little solar charger, you can recharge this thing many times a day or right off your marine battery. And I tell you what, it's working great. Off of a big marine battery, I got about 10 charges. Okay, wild ones, I used the Bauer vacuum and vacuumed out the bedrock that I've been working on. This is where the tailings pile meets the flood zone on Jackass River. And I got under some big rocks and beat the bedrock up, sucked it up with the Bauer vacuum, the lithium ion, and I recharged it, and then I repeated at least 10 or 12 times on this trip. So I got some gold out of here. I wanted to show you. I'm not sure if it's out of the tailings or out of the veins or both, but here's the vacuumed area. So right here you can see the veins, the low grade veins. Right here, here, going throughout the striations. And then this giant boulder here was up, and I got under it. I didn't get all of what I wanted, so I'm leaving that for you wild ones to come out here and get on Jackass Creek, Amaret Claim, ours. So I went ahead and dug all this out. There's still some rusty material in there, but I got to get going. I got a couple of rabbits to sell. So I leave this to you, my followers. And if I don't have to sell the gold this time, I'm going to donate this gold too, but I might have to sell the gold this time. But I do have a little bit of a gold already saved away for the giveaway to my subscribers. I got a gram saved away, and check out my other video and you can see pictures of it there. And at the end of this video, I want to show pictures of this trip's gold, and you'll see why I'm not sure if it's coming out of placer gold or load gold. There's some sharp stuff in there. Alright, thanks wild ones. Enjoy. I hope you get yourself a Bauer vacuum, because they sure do suck. I think my biggest advantage is this vacuum, the Bauer vacuum from Harbor Freight. It just allows me to pick up things that I couldn't otherwise, and maybe things that other people couldn't pick up with their fingertips or their little brushes and stuff. So I come up here and I get in the contact zones, I crush it up, I remove all the big debris, and then I by hand do buckets, and then I get it down to the smaller amount and I suck it up with a vacuum. So that's my method. I'm getting okay gold. It's better than nothing. You gotta go back the creek. Wish me luck. I want to need it. Cheap folding sluice. Works like a charm. Okay, wish me luck. I'm gonna need it. Crack right here. It runs all the way along, and I'm interested in as well. So it actually is a lot of work. It's not much area. It just seems like a lot of work. It adds up when you're not a young guy. Here's a cobble right here, laying in there from the river action. Probably 6 feet up from the river. Just a nice junction. You see that? How that border wall is in line with all this. So all the lines line up here. So I'll keep going. Here's a quick tip for you metal detectorists. When you come to these heavily worked areas and that are also very trashy, what you can also do to increase your odds of finding something valuable is put yourself in the shoes of the person who's out here shooting their gun randomly or not so randomly. And basically you can look at the surroundings of where you want to hunt for gold and eyeball where it's likely the bands where people are shooting their bullets, and that will give you some idea of where you'll be immersed in that kind of trash. But then what you can do is use the lead inside the waterway to give you an indication of drop zones, and that's an excellent way to get onto the flood gold at least. And so here you can look at this little waterway that's just a tributary. It's got giant pieces of quartz in it. And it's got some beautiful purple flowers this time of year, and you can see up on the hill there's workings there. There's interesting vegetation that pops out of nowhere for some reason, probably because of water. That may indicate a hole. And you can also see the burn. I also wanted to mention how if you're metal detecting, regions that have been burned give you a lot more swing room. So keep that in mind. Here's one of these beautiful flowers right here. And they have thorns, I just found out. Little thistle. So this is off of the 49, and I'm here just to explore, but it's got nice mineralization and streamers and veins, and this beautiful purple is really catching my eye right now. There it is. Beautiful. It's in May, mid-May right now in California. Just beautiful out here, other than the human waste and dog waste that you see from time to time. Please pack up your toilet paper, cover your poop. Here's some old waste from the old timers. Some tin cans, really old. Got the old style band on them. Poison oak up my legs everywhere trying to be. And then over that little hill is the big gully. You can see an old mine over there, and just a massive corner that was worked. If you go down that a ways, there's a huge flat of tailings, and if you go up this ways, it's more of a lode rock mine. Okay, that's a couple tips for metal detectors when there's a lot of trash in the area, especially bullets. You can sort of hone down on where people might be shooting. And what I meant to mention is, then you go to the back sides. So you notice where people have been shooting, bang, 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 bang. So then you walk down the hills to these back sides that are not in the direction of the shots. They're the opposite. And you get fewer background noises that I found. So just little tips for you. Thank you. Also with the metal detectors, there's sensitivity and specificity. Sorry if I look a little haggard. It's a little hot out here, and I've done 3 days of work, got a little bit of gold, but there's sensitivity and specificity. Okay, and some machines only have one or the other, and some have both to some degree. And then there's iron rejection. That's part of specificity. But sensitivity, I have the White's GMT model, which I'll show you a picture of, and I also have the GPX 5000. So two quite different metal detectors. The GMT from White's is excellent at detecting hot rocks, which you think is not what you want, but in a sense, when you're a small-time prospector, you do want to know where the hot rocks are, and really it's the best way to find them, because the other machines are really trying to ignore them, although they can't always. So what I do is I take my novel method of using the Whites is I'll take it out and I'll set the settings to very low sensitivity, and it's already got a very low specificity. So it's a very noisy process, and you get a lot of one directional swing bongs, if that makes sense to you. In other words, when you swing the coil in one direction only will it sound off, and it will give an irony sound on the GMT instead of a zip. Okay, but this is useful information because hot rocks are ultimately very heavy compared to other rocks. So that tells you about drop zones. So that's how I use the GMT. It used to have black sands capabilities on it, but I broke the trigger on it and I don't trust it for that anymore. But I still use it to find drop zones and black sands using the hot rock method, and it'll still zip off on a good enough size piece of gold. It's so sensitive, not sensitive, but non-specific, that it will bwong and bwong and bwong when you're out here in these gullies if you're not on clean bedrock, or pretty clean bedrock. So I use the bwonging to my advantage and use it as a prospecting tool. Now the other beast I have is the GPX 5000. It's a totally different type of approach. It has that great iron rejection on it, so I use that to its full capabilities on setting 10, and then I have other settings that I'll do another video about for specifically that, and I'll also do the GMT settings. But for what I wanted to mention here is that machine is so powerful. It's a pulse induction machine versus the VLF from White's. It's so powerful and has so many settings and it goes so deep that it will miss the obvious. It won't miss the obvious. It'll sound off on the obvious like it would anything, really. I just can't, there's nothing bad about it other than it won't do my method of finding big hot rocks. I could turn the iron reject off, but then you're using a $5,000 machine to look for hot rocks on purpose. So there's a limit to my lunacy. So let me take that back. The Whites will do everything you want it to do if you know how to use it. There's no flaw to the GPX. There's no flaw to the GPX that I can find other than it won't do this cheap trick that I use the Whites for finding drop zones. But it does find drop zones because it finds every metal signal. So there's really no disadvantage to it. But I'm just saying, if you want to pick up a used VLF like the GMT, you can do a lot with it just by finding drop zones and hot rocks, or potentially ore if they sound off hot, zippy enough. Okay, that's a few things on metal detecting. Okay, wild ones, that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button for me and give me a comment. I really love to hear your comments. I'm trying to form a community of survivors here, and you can also check out my other videos. I'm giving some screenshots here. It seems YouTube rewards quicker, less edited videos, as long as there's just a little bit of quality at least, or a little bit of entertainment. And I already know I lean towards the educational side. So thank you so much for tuning in today, and keep tuned for further videos on smelting and side gigs and all types of different weird things that I know about.